Divine Connections magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.
Today is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Just to tell you a little bit about Divine Connections, I do a magazine that comes out quarterly, and we promote different businesses, entrepreneurs, gospel groups, moms, praise dance events, and positive things going on in the community. And then once a year, I bring in gospel groups, praise dance, moms, vendors, and we network and worship together. And so you can go to our website at divineconnectionsmagazine.com to learn more and subscribe. And also we're on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. And we're also on Instagram at Divine Connections. So make sure you stay connected to what's going on with Divine Connections. And today we have a special guest, Miss Alycia Challenges. She's living in Florida right now. And so I'm so excited to have her on. So welcome, Miss Alycia. How are you?
Why, thank you so much. I am doing very well, and I hope you're doing the same.
Yes, ma'am. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, quick version is not a very quick version for me, but I sometimes get asked, well, what do I do? And that's become almost the bane of my existence to answer that question, because God has really blessed me to wear many different hats throughout my life thus far. And I'm very, very thankful. Your show is called Divine Connections. And one of the things I always do is I give honor to God, because the things that God allows for us to do in life are to connect with others. And so I find I'm very, very fortunate to have had so many connecting points throughout my life with different careers and interests and things that I've done. So to take it back a little bit, I am a Western Massachusetts native. And I say that because if you ever look at my post and anything that represents Springfield, Massachusetts, Western Mass, I hashtag 413, because that's our zip code. I mean, our area code. Home of Ruth Carter and Dr. Seuss, and just so many different things. And I'm proud to be a native of Western Mass. But I did go to college at Tuskegee University, where I majored in mechanical engineering. And I did that, and I graduated, and I did work as an engineer for several years. When I left the field, I went into education, because I've always found our need to really be in the community, helping our students enjoy, and I said the word enjoy, math and science, and to see the value in a STEM or science, technology, engineering, math education. We need that. So I did teach in the public school system for about 12 years. While I was doing that, I also, among other things, have been in radio now for 25 years. So I had a concurrent radio career as an on-air radio personality. I did programming, promotions, the branding, website, all of the social media aspects and components of that. And not just in radio, but I also hosted some television shows, wrote for several different magazines, including Beautifully Inspired Women Over 40 magazine, Western Women magazine, and hosted a television show called IMO, in my opinion, with 4 other amazing women. So it was like almost like The View, but we were just all women of color, and it just was an amazing show. I also, when I left education, I did, of all things, went into marketing. So part of my engineering degree, when I left engineering, I started to go to school for marketing for my MBA. So as fate would have it, because I was very active and engaged in the community, the Western YMCA of Greater Springfield asked me to come on as Vice President of Membership and Marketing. So now I'm marketing one of the largest, well, I think it was the largest nonprofit in Western Mass, the YMCA.
Wow.
And opens up a lot of opportunities to be very creative with the marketing and our special events, which I love.
Yeah.
Also, then I went into the YMCA in Connecticut, and there took on a television show that I created called Why the Why, and again took on all the aspects of social media. So I really have been able to blend professionally many of the things that I have always enjoyed. So
Right.
between the engineering and the science and education. And sidebar, it's interesting because now that we're in graduation season, some of my former students are graduating with their doctorates right now. It's like, oh my God, like, when did this happen? So, I mean, I've done several other things while doing that. And I've been active and engaged in my church. I've been in ministry for over 27 years now, in various capacities in my church, as far as actually throughout Christian education and active ministry as an associate minister. And I've danced for, I can say this, 42 years of my life I've been dancing in some capacity. And still do. Singing on the praise team, worship arts ministry, just all of the above, the audio visual. I just love what I do, and so I try to get engaged as much as possible. That's kind of where I've been in a nutshell professionally. And believe it or not, I left it all. Well, not the radio part, but I left the 9 to 5 security of a 9 to 5 in order to move to Atlanta to pursue my acting career. So why not? I've been acting in some degree for the majority of my life, and in a lot of stage productions in Western Mass and Connecticut throughout the years, and it just was time.
Absolutely.
So
awesome. So with all the things that you've been doing, what are some of your challenges and how did you overcome them?
It's interesting whenever I hear that question, because before I knew it was a challenge, going back to my childhood. So I actually had I remember clearly the 3rd grade, a speech impediment. And we were going to go to a speech pathologist to get that taken care of. And I also had a stutter, and throughout my years was very, very shy when it came to public speaking. Fast forward, here I am. God has jokes. I say that often. God is amazing. The jokes. So here is a kid who was, although I was a performer, I was shy. And although I loved to talk and I always had something to talk about, speech impediment and a stutter. And here I am, fast forward, getting paid to talk.
All right.
Literally getting paid to talk as a public speaker, as a host. I've be at a jazz festival with 50,000 people, or a special event in the city, or doing a commencement speech at a high school graduation. I am literally a talker, and I talk for a living. That to me is, I just can't enough that. I also when I did graduate from Tuskegee University with the mechanical engineering degree, I was 8 months pregnant with baby number 3.
Okay.
With baby number 3. That meant that 2 of my children actually kind of attended classes with me off and on. And so I graduated 8 months pregnant in August in Alabama, which was an amazing. I mean, I still say, oh my God, God carried me through some amazing things with that. I, throughout my life, am not the only woman that has had, that has experienced a sexual trauma or dysfunctional abusive relationships. So I can add that to the list of been there, done that, have experienced that. I am a 1 in 4, and God has brought me through all of that. I can say that I have been broke beyond measure. Like, I'm not talking about you got a couple $100s in savings account. I'm talking about, like, you can't touch that $25 to keep your bank account open. So you're kind of trying to make money happen out of nowhere kind of thing. I have been functionally homeless. I have experienced some of the highs and lows of life. And when we say oftentimes, I don't look like what I've been through.
Yes, absolutely.
I count myself among that. And I think that we need to change the narrative and be like, well, this is what we can look like.
Yeah.
And, as we survive and thrive through the experiences of life. So I've been very, very fortunate to have been able to travel the world And I've been able to be on stages, and I've been able to, as a model, I model with a designer whose name is Justin Haynes. His brand is Just 10H. And as a result, I've modeled in New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week and Miami. And last year, I was in Paris modeling during Fashion Week in Paris at the Eiffel Tower. So I can literally say I've had some amazing experiences, but I've had some very, very deep lows. And I will add this, I believe are we still in May yet? Yeah, we're still in May. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm going to add this for a plug. Shanti Das, Shanti, her name is Shanti, her last name is Das, D-A-S, has created a movement called Silence is Shame. And speaking about mental health, and that, you know, depression is not something that's an isolated event. Sometimes we talk about depression or mental health issues in the church and we try to not talk about them, but there are real things that can happen. And so I just want to put that plug in there for Silence the Shame. So yeah, as far as obstacles, I don't want to say you name it. I might not have experienced it the same way as someone else, but I've definitely pretty much experienced it all. It all. Yeah.
Awesome. So for some of the women and even some of the men out there, give some encouraging words about where we are right now or just life in general to encourage.
Absolutely. I think one of the first things that when we initially, I'm going to speak as far as the COVID-19 and how our nation and how we've had to pull back and social distancing. And I know for me, not being able to travel because I was going once a month back to Massachusetts to either do speaking events and to take care of my parents who are aging. You know, so we're looking at a time when our life in many regards has been put on a standstill. Parents, some of whom are working from home or are trying to navigate that space while helping their children learn. Teachers who have been transformed into all of a sudden being an online resource. It's a brand new world for all of us. And although I hate to like overuse this word, unprecedented, it really, in my lifetime of 40 something, it is unprecedented. So we have to look at each opportunity as not only a challenge to survive, but to rewrite our narratives. And initially, a lot of people were like, oh, well, and myself included, we're like, oh, well, you know, let's take this time to learn that language. I have a book in the works, literally, I really do. You know, let's finish the book, let's clean all the closets, let's do this, let's put all this pressure on ourselves to do all of these laundry lists of things because we have all this time in the world. Some people are bored and they don't have anything to do. That's great. But if you are one of the people who is literally trying to keep your head above water financially, I know we can call and get the bills deferred. Hi. But if you find yourself really in a place of, I don't know what the heck is going on, that's okay to not feel the pressure of all these things that I should be doing during this time period. If you are surviving, if you are getting up and whatever that means for you personally, to get up and function, that's good enough. And I know for me, I'm a very list-driven person. I want to do multiple things at the same time. But sometimes for me, it's like if I can get one or two things done, I literally swept the floor. That's what I did today. And I'm putting that on.
Right.
So be encouraged, although we are not necessarily meeting in person. And I'm a hugger. I'm very, very touchy-feely, and that's like, oh my gosh, it's, you know, we're missing a lot of that human interaction.
Yeah.
But please, we have many ways of reaching out using technology, and I know it's not the same. I know it's not the same. But now is the time not to judge someone because they're not checking up on you, but to actually say, how can we try to navigate this space together and give ourselves grace?
Right.
Give ourselves grace. Connect how you feel is important to you, what works for you, and don't worry about anyone else. If unplugging from the news is what you need to do, don't let anyone, even yourself, don't let anyone make you feel guilty because you're taking a week away from the news. Pull back. Okay? Right. Whatever self-care means to you, take care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, whatever you can do, because we all are in this together. And I don't ever like to say things that come across as cliche.
Yeah.
But guess what? All of us are living in this time in 2020 together.
Correct.
So encourage each other, however that we need to do that, yeah.
Awesome. And I want you to share a little bit information. Of course, we deal with quartets, gospel groups, and things like that.
Mhm.
You work with Provision, so share some insight on that.
Sure. I am so very happy. You know what? I joke around all the time that God moves people, places, and situations and arranges them. So it's like we can just sit back and wonder how things happen. God knows. But anyway, so because I have come across, I'm working with a group named Provision, and they are out of Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
Provision Quartet is an amazing, amazing group of individuals. These men are literally, they are passionate not only about singing, but they're passionate about God, and each have powerful, powerful testimonies, songwriting, arrangements, the music, the band is phenomenal. And when they come together on stage, it's like you are in for an experience. Now, I joke around that the gospel music is in their DNA. I mean, I don't just mean that figuratively, but I mean that literally as well, because Jeffrey Newberry Jr. is the son of Jeffrey Newberry Sr. of Gospel Keynotes.
Okay.
So, I mean, Jeffrey Newberry Jr. grew up on stage singing with his dad and the Gospel Keynotes. So literally living and breathing the quartet movement to then have created his own group along, with Cornelius Drake, and singing now is Steve Walden and Roosevelt Rhodey Glover. And when they come together, the synergy is amazing. They've had 14 years now together.
Okay, great.
14 years together. And like I said, the harmonies are tight. The Provisions CD that was out several years ago was Devotion. And there have been several singles. I Got My Seat, Pray On, and Mama Song, which basically was when his mother passed, Jeffrey's mother passed, he wrote a song in honor of his mother. And the lyrics, again, so heartfelt and stirring to help you appreciate a mother's unconditional love. And it's amazing. So above all else, brand new CD is coming out soon, and that is called Service. So looking forward to that, and a brand new single called Trust God coming out shortly as well.
Awesome. So tell the audience how they can contact you if they are interested and if you can stay connected with you, or even for the group as well.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to encourage everyone to follow Provision on all social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Please subscribe. It is Provision the Quartet. So if you go on Instagram, it's Provision the Quartet. Facebook, Provision the Quartet. YouTube, Provision the Quartet. I, of course, am able to, if you're interested, okay, the pandemic thing is obviously put a hold on the music industry as far as touring and doing shows, but we do believe that that's not going to be forever.
That's right.
So when we do, and we are able to carefully be able to come together and enjoy music again live, I definitely encourage you to please consider booking these guys, because you are in for an amazing ministry experience. And again, I've worked with shows and show promotion, and I work with music industry stuff for literally over 30 years. But I can't even just say it as a show. I can't even call it just a performance. It is a ministry experience. It's an experience. So if you want information about booking them, that is provisionquartet@gmail.com.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on today with me, sharing your insight and your life challenges, as well as things you overcome, as well as what you do and Provision. So make sure you all stay tuned. Make sure to connect with Miss Alycia. Make sure to like her Facebook and follow her as well. So thank you so much for coming on today. Many blessings to you, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. And by the way, my personal Instagram is ALC Media. That's the Instagram, ALC Media. and also Facebook, ALC Media. So I definitely would love to connect as well because, again, your show is called Divine Connections.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I am very fortunate to be able to connect with some amazing individuals on many different levels. And before I'd be remiss in mentioning that I thank our mutual friend, Doc Bradford Howard, for connecting us. And he's recently named me Director of Operations and Media Relations Advisor for his radio stations, Doc Plays, Doc Talk, Doc World Internet radio stations, and he's doing something else too because he is always on the move.
Yes. Awesome. Well, great day, everyone. Thank you again for coming on, and we look forward to hearing even more from you for the future to come.
Thank you so much. You have a beautiful, blessed day.
Yes, ma'am, you as well. Everyone, you all have a Divine Connections Day and stay tuned.
Thank you for tuning in to Divine Connections with Dolores Williams. If you enjoyed this interview, then head on over to our website for more topics like this and to hear more about Divine Connections at www.divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Divine Connections. Stay connected where great people are making great things happen.